a lot of people, when we have typography as a choice for a word mark, they'll write the entire word Patreon and maybe do some flair to it and try and add a symbol, like we saw with Medium, right? The Medium word mark is different, the symbol is
Yeah.
different. Other times you will see some specific sort of logo mark itself, which is an abstraction from the word mark. With this, it's super fun because it's an abstraction from a word mark for sure, but it's super distinct. Even though it's a P,
Yeah.
but it almost doesn't feel like it. It feels like a blob, as
Yeah.
has been shown
Yeah.
on the right. So this is Wolf Hollins, another world-class design agency, and the Patreon rebranding was really fascinating to me because they just
Yeah.
made it too organic, and it didn't
Yeah.
feel at first when I saw it. I was like, this feels different, of course, but is it appropriate? Will it work? It works. It works for sure because they're working with artists, the creative people. That's the entire field, and dynamism is the focal point of it. 250,000 creators and 10 plus increase in monthly web visits. That's a huge number. 3.5 billion in creative profits. So it's pretty understandable that Patreon had to go this way because of how business was going for them, and especially with the ownership as well. In October 2023, Patreon saw a 10% increase in monthly web visits, 2 million unique monthly visitors. And again, another thing that's always fun to see is credits. Credits where it's
Yes.
due. 3D by David McLeod, Patreon in-house team, wordmark done by someone else. This is something that we don't a lot of times think about, that even at such a big scale, Wolf Hollins also delegates some part of the work to other great people around the world.
Yes. Yes.
And that's something that a lot of us can learn from.
Yes. It's a team. If you want to create something truly world class, it is a team effort.
Absolutely.
These projects aren't made to be done by yourself unless they're very small budgets. But once you start reaching those higher budgets, you have to start sharing the load.
This mock-up looks so good. Again, like
Yeah.
you put it in context, and this of course stands out.
Yeah.
Now that I see it more, it feels like a guitar pluck that you use to
Yeah.
like play the guitar, which is also super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to creativity, change is the only constant, of course, and it only made sense for them.
That's right.
The Patreon, like a lot of people, when we have typography as a choice for a word mark, they'll write the entire word Patreon and maybe do some flair to it and try and add a symbol, like we saw with Medium, right? The Medium word mark is different, the symbol is
Yeah.
different. Other times you will see some specific
Yeah.
sort of logo mark itself, which is an abstraction from the word mark. With this, it's super fun because it's an abstraction from a word mark for sure, but it's super distinct. Even though it's a P,
Yeah.
but it almost doesn't feel like it. It feels like a blob, as
Yeah.
has been shown
Yeah.
on the right.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
it again, like we've talked about before, but that's a blob, right? That's the icon. And that's an
Hmm.
incredibly hard commitment to make for a big
True.
company like Patreon, right? Because there's a lot on
Hmm.
the line for them. They're not just a startup. Um,
Hmm. I think the dynamism helps them really well because they can portray just so many
yes.
things, textures, and they don't have to stick to one thing. It's
Yeah.
because now they don't have a logo mark, they have a shape. They have a shape as a
Yeah.
logo. They can just
Yeah.
fill that shape with anything.
Yeah.
This mock-up
It's
specifically is so cool.
this fits the category of what you would call a dynamic logo. So you can treat it,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can put any treatment you want on it, and it still gives away the same message. Same thing with
Right.
what Apple has done with their icon too.
Yes.
Really cool. These are interesting photography choices. So this
Hmm.
is like a
This kind of
duotone aesthetic, right?
yes.
But it's almost completely unseeable what it is. It looks almost abstract. I've never seen it
Yeah.
done with the gray and a primary color.
All of it looks superbly done. This is a new touch for sure. The gray and
Yes.
the duotone, the gray and the blues,
Yeah.
and they have this one as well. I mean, a creative company who works with creative people, of course, you would get creativity.
Mhm.
Hmm.
This
Again,
comes
with the
from
logo mark. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. This comes from again like a group of some of the best in their craft sitting together in one
Right.
room and just discussing, throwing around ideas. And then
Mhm.
also, as you might have seen from a lot of agencies, they show their meeting room with a whole wall filled with printed
Mhm.
papers of different logo options, post-it notes, everything. It looks like a big discovery workshop every single time.
Right. Right.
That's the level of thinking this takes.
Everywhere it's been implemented super well, because
Yeah,
that's the flexibility that logo mark at that scale gives. It's a big commitment to make. It's a risky one,
yeah, yeah.
but once you have done that, then yeah, you can do it with
It remi-
watches. You can do it with everything.
yeah. It reminds me of a quote by Sagi Haviv, and I think we touched
Mhm.
on this the other day. But a logo and a symbol is supposed to be a vessel for really all the
Mhm.
emotions and attachments you have with a brand. And this to me is like a legitimate, actual, literal vessel
Mhm.
for anything and everything, right? Creativity. Um, this
Right.
sort of blob, P, has now become a vessel for you can turn it into anything. You can treat it like
Mhm.
anything, and it retains that idea and that commitment to that mission. So that's something you're seeing done well
Here,
here.
if you look at
And
the word mark as well of the
yeah,
word Patreon, you will see that it's kind of blobby. It has what you call ink jets or something
yes,
in the typography. Yeah.
yeah, ink blots or ink something
Yeah.
related to it. Yeah,
Done superbly well.
without the motion graphics here, I think
Mhm.
this would be a hard thing to sell. It
It
would
will
be
be. Yeah.
like without that right there, where okay, it goes from really anything in abstract, and it
Mhm.
becomes that P. Without having
Mhm.
that there, really hard to sell this.
Because in this mockup, if you'll see, it'll be so hard to sell because where's the brand introducing Jade Nova creator stories, and there's something as an
Yeah,
icon, probably if you don't know that. Where is the
yeah,
brand logo? And then you
yeah,
tell them that that's the brand logo. They're like, okay, I mean, come on.
yeah,
But yeah, if you know how to use it, again, that's where the power of design plus implementation comes in, which is
yeah,
these big agencies know how to bring that vision in.
yeah,
And again, done superbly well. As far as the website goes, simple website. They talk about the creative transformation of brands across the world. They have a showreel. I always am interested in how big agency websites do their work section. This is a simple grid. Lots of them have simple grids. There's the featured news.
that's right.
I love that personality with the W. Well, yeah, this thing as well. Kind of
Yeah,
stretches.
yeah.
Yeah, superbly done. Any last thoughts?
Again, uh, extremely hard to sell Patreon without the motion
Mhm.
graphics, and I think the secret sauce here is in the presentation of this brand.
Mhm.
And I know they put amazing thought and strategy behind it, but to sell
Right.
this um, to a client and to sell this to
Mhm.
the rest of the world, because I
Mhm.
know when this came out, it elicited a lot of um, 50-50 buzz, right? People loved it, a lot of people hated it, but that's fine. That comes with branding, and that comes with playing with something and trying something new with a piece or object that people have come to know and love for a very long time. So it always is a hard thing to let go of something old and accept something new. So this is one of those
They've worked with the
examples
biggest
of
two
that.
brands.
They have.
It's superbly awesome. Moving on.
Mhm.